So the biggest regulatory development for us will be balkanisation of regulation across the world. For the last 10 years, mostly, regulators in many different jurisdictions have thought the same thing and have done similar things to respond to the crisis. But now we're at a point where potentially global regulation may move in different directions across different jurisdictions, and that's a real risk for wholesale markets in which we work.
I think the regulatory development that will have the biggest impact is data privacy and its potential impact on AML and KYC, and also its relationship with cyber. So how do you protect the data? How do you protect the rights of the individuals? But how do you, on the other hand, use the data and protect it from attack from cyber?
I think for my organization as a financial institution, the biggest regulatory development area that we are going to see is the digitalization of banking, whether it's Fintech, RegTech, virtual banking. Things are going digital.
I think transparency. I think all the regulatory framework that are going towards, be it FATCA, CRS, are all going to transparency. And why is that a big impact for us as a multifamily office? We think because that focuses clients on thinking about issues that they probably had put under the carpet or hadn't really wanted to think about. And I think especially as we're going now through a succession issue for the next, I think numbers where it came out at $22 trillion are going to be transferred from one generation to the other in Asia. I think it forces one generation to think about the way they thought in the context of now a transparent world that wasn't the rules they were used to in their previous generation.
I think it's a regulation of data. So in the digital age, data is becoming increasingly important, but there are lots of issues that are emerging, and government and industry need to find a way forward. There are things like privacy, security, appropriate use, cross-border data flows, and at the moment there's no consensus on what needs to be done. So we really need to sit down and talk and find the way forward.
The China's cybersecurity law and the EU GDPR would have a significant impact on businesses in Hong Kong, mainly because of the extraterritorial jurisdiction being extended to businesses in Hong Kong.
Probably one of the greatest challenges is in the area of conflict between regulatory regimes and the potential conflict between the regulations around data privacy and the need for banks and financial institutions to share information in the fight against financial crime.
Over the next 2 to 3 years, probably the most important regulatory trend is going to be the jurisdictional and cross-border response to the challenge of cybersecurity. But combined with this are the challenges of increasingly different approaches to data protection in different jurisdictions.
One of the recurring themes that has appeared throughout the conference has been in relation to privacy. And it's been interesting to see how privacy across the region has developed differently and separately across each different country. And for organizations that are operating across all of those jurisdictions, it provides one of the most significant challenges going forward, because we're in an evolving regulatory environment. It is all change ahead, and none of it's the same.
For my sector, which is the blockchain sector, obviously the most important evolution will be how regulators deal with crypto, including how they'll regulate it, what they'll regulate, and what they won't regulate.
Money laundering and terrorist financing will continue to be a focus for regulators and will continue to be an area that our customers will invest in, simply because of the systemic threat to the financial system and the issues of national security.